each one of you to mute yourself during the session. Please rename yourself with your name in the Zoom profile. Q&A session is available at the end of this session, and questions are invited orally as well as via chats. Prayer is sitting in the silence until it silences us, choosing gratitude until we are grateful, praising God until we ourselves are a constant act of praise. Let us invoke the presence and blessings of the Almighty through a silent prayer. We must welcome the future, remembering that soon it will be the past. And we must respect the past, remembering that it was once all that was humanly possible. Distinguished guests, esteemed faculty members, resource person, participants, and students, it is our immense pleasure to welcome you all to the fifth day of 7 days national level virtual faculty development program on innovative education, integration of SDGs in curriculum framework. I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. Together, we can do great things. I am delighted to welcome Dr. Jonas Richard, Head Department of Social Work, and Dr. Madhu Dhruvakumar, Head Department of Commerce, PG. We welcome you both. Insight perceives, intelligence understands, intellect comprehends, and wisdom knows. To offer these, we have our esteemed resource person, Dr. Baba Gnanakumar. We welcome you, sir. I wish to welcome my colleagues from both the Department of Commerce PG and Department of Social Work. I appreciate their wishes and prayers for the smooth conduct of this FDP. I welcome you all, dear colleagues. I deem it a privilege to welcome the participants of this program. You have journeyed with us so long and kept up the spirit. Welcome, dear participants. Last but not the least, I welcome my dear students who are an integral part of every program in the department. Hearty welcome, dear students. I am delighted to welcome the resource person of the day, Dr. Baba Gnanakumar. Sir is a highly accomplished academic professional who has dedicated over 3 decades to the field of education. Currently serving as the professor at Kristu Jayanti College in Bangalore, in the additional capacity of also managing the consultancy department. His impressive career is characterized by numerous accolades and contribution to the academic community. Sir's journey to excellence began with his remarkable achievement as a gold medalist in commerce, an honor he received from the esteemed former President of India, His Excellency K.R. Narayanan, in 1992. The early recognition set the stage for his exceptional career in academia. As an active advocate for education, he assumed the role of General Secretary of the All India College Principals Association. He has demonstrated his commitment to quality standards in education by becoming a certified auditor for ISO TUV. His research endeavors have been widely acknowledged with accolades such as awards for the best research papers from renowned institutions like IIM Bangalore and IIM Kozhikode. Notably, he received a research paper award for his project on ICT-enabled supply chain management from IIT Delhi. His remarkable contribution to academia were further recognized with a Distinguished Faculty Award from ICBM Hyderabad and the AIMS International Award, as well as a Venus International Award. His Google citation count of 1,000 plus underscores the widespread impact of his research and contributions. Sir's academic prowess is evident through the numerous research articles he has authored. With a portfolio boasting over 60 publications, he has been a prolific presenter at various conferences where he has shared his insights and expertise by delivering over 150 papers. Sir's leadership abilities were honed through specialized training from IIM Bangalore, and he put these skills to use during his tenure as a former principal of a private college in Coimbatore. He is actively involved in academic organizations including AIMS, AIB, and AICP, and he served as the former Senate member at Bhartiyar University, Coimbatore. In addition to his many accomplishments, Sir has been an executive member in the Association of Indian College Principal, and he has completed an impressive 25 research projects. He is a valued member of academic councils and board of studies in autonomous colleges, contributing his expertise to shape the future of education. As a respected resource person, he has delivered 120 speeches on various educational topics, further establishing his reputation as a thought leader in the field. Sir's profile speaks of his distinguished figure in the world of education, embodying the qualities of an accomplished professor, leader, and researcher. Dear Baba sir, we request you to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Cherian Thomas. Thank you, Richard sir, Madhu, madam, and my fellow colleagues in Commerce Department and the participants. It is my pleasure to have this session on the research topic. So the topic assigned for me is the scope for research and development in sustainable development goals. So basically, you know about all the sustainable goals. You had nice introduction about the sustainable goals, and I hope I came to know that even some of them presented nicely about what are all the problems we are facing in sustainable goals. So my presentation, the agenda for today is like this. First, what is the concept beyond the SDG research? Most of you know. Anyhow, it is something different from the others. Second part, what is the uniqueness when you are doing the SDG research? Next one is the input and output. What is the meaning of input and output in the SDG research? Of course, I'm not going to tell the process because it depends upon the organization. And finally, we'll go for the conclusion about the SDG research. So we will discuss the scope of the research, all the 17 goals. We will find out what are the main objectives if you want to do the research. Next thing, we will see what is the output of the research. Whenever we are doing the research, the output is very important. Based upon the output only, we have to decide the input. That is why I used to throw more lights in the input and output of all the research. So let us start with the simple meaning of the SDG research. You know all the 17 goals of the SDG. It is the blueprint of peace, prosperity for people and planet. Because we have to consider this piece. Research is not merely an academic exercise in SDG. It is the foundation upon which we can build sustainable, just thriving the societies. So SDG research means the research should benefit the society, even though the persons involved are academicians, we are targeting the society. That is why, in case of SDG research, it encompasses the broad spectrum of academic, scientific, and investigative work, each and everything aimed at tackling a complex challenges which are outlined in all the SDG 17 goals. Usually, it is the interdisciplinary by nature. We can't say this research belongs to commerce or economics or biochemistry. It is interdisciplinary by nature. Of course, very important thing is the transdisciplinary also. It is going to cut across the fields, even economics, sociology, environmental science, public health, engineering, and even the policy studies. The scope of SDG research is vast. However, it reflects the multi-phased nature of goals themselves. At the heart of the SDG research, it lies in the commitment to understand the root causes of the world's most pressing issues. That is important. We are facing number of issues at present, especially poverty, inequality, environmental degradation, more and more, even war. So, all this SDG research aims such thing, how to create a new sustainable world. That is why we must delve into the underlying causes of each and everything. The main key contribution of the SDG research is the development of evidence-based solutions. That is important. Whatever you are doing in the research, it should have an evidence-based solution. Then only we are able to achieve this one. We can't do like in case of commerce or economics or in any social science. We have to join hands with the others, and we have to find out which area we can do. Another important thing, only one course or only one discipline we can't do. We have to join hands with others. That is why this involves not only identifying what works, but also understanding why it works and under what condition. The application of technologies and innovative methodologies plays the critical role here. That is why the uniqueness of this research is, first thing is transdisciplinary. We have to collaborate with number of disciplines. We need a collaborative effort across the disciplines. It may be economists, sociologists, engineers, even public health experts. That is why this SDG research is considered as the transdisciplinary research. It is vital for addressing the entire interconnected nature also, where progress in one area will impact the other area. That is why technicality of SDG research cannot be understated. It involves more advanced data analytics, the use of geospatial information, complex modeling also. The depth of the research is matched only by its ambition to transform the world. That is why, in case of SDG goals, this research consists of, under the transdisciplinary, we have to go for interdisciplinary. Then it should integrate environmental, economic, and social dimensions. Also, it is policy oriented because we have to achieve the SDG goal by 2030. That is our aim. That is why the SDG research should be a policy oriented. How far we are able to achieve this one by 2030. That is the uniqueness. In case of this research, it should focus on monitoring the progress to the each and every goals. That is the first thing you have to answer. Usually in case of sampling technique, here we are going for snowball sampling because we may not know what is the problem. Once a problem has been identified, when you enter into the research, another problem will come. So the problems will be cascading effect because it consists of 17 goals. Simple thing. If you go through the transportation or living under the water, if you touch one area, it will affect the another one. They have to see the environment. So this research is basically based upon the snowball sampling. We have to focus on the snowball sampling. And most of the data is considered as a panel data. There is no need for more primary data or secondary data. Even we have to depend upon the panel data. So the SDG research is simply equivalent to our research, but major difference is it is policy oriented. The design pattern is different. One problem will create another problem. There is a cascading effect. That is why we need a different design, even in case of sampling. And in case of data collection also, we will move towards the panel data. That is the basic thing in the SDG research. So when you consider the SDG research, it is different from the basic research. It should be transdisciplinary. Under transdisciplinary, it should be an interdisciplinary one. Then in the research design, it is entirely different. It consists of 4 core parts. One is the research, because in case of research, we need a different focus. Second part is the education. Since it is a transdisciplinary, we need academicians from different fields. If they are from only one field, we need training and education. Then the operations and governance. We have to see the governance procedures in SDG research also. Simple thing. When we were doing one research in ESG values of Indian logistics company, we faced all this problem because Indian rules are different. European countries' rules are different. Even Oceania countries' rules are different. So this governance is very important in goals setting. So in research, we have to compare one country with another country. If there is a difference, it may be from the governance side. Then the external leadership. Why we are emphasizing on the external leadership in research of SDG? Yes, different person only knows what is the uniqueness one. If you are doing in India and you are involving in Bangalore, say for example, I am doing a research in Bangalore, transportation. I may not know what is the uniqueness portion of the Bangalore. Somebody from Delhi or from Pune, when they are doing research in Bangalore, they know what is the uniqueness, what is the difference in Bangalore. That is why in case of SDG goal, we need the external leadership. And mostly these type of researches are interconnected. Interconnected in the sense there are 17 goals. Each and every goal will be connected with some interdisciplinariness. Say, for example, first one is the biogeochemistry and biodiversity. It may relating to different goals. It may refer to the biological, geological, even chemical process that interact with the environment. Biodiversity, the variety of life on the earth, which is playing a crucial role in maintaining the ecosystem. That is why some of the SDG goals are concerned with this area. We have to club these goals for the purpose of academic research in SDG. Likewise, the second group is the contaminants and material. If you consider the SDG goal of 3, 6, 7, 12, 14, 11, and 9. These SDG goals comes under the contaminants and materials. A scientific research is needed here. Likewise, human health and air quality. If you see the goal number 2, 3, 11, 12, 13, and 17, we need a different form of research. It should be grouped together and it comes under the human health and air quality. Likewise, water quality and fisheries, that is the another one, in which the goal number 2, 3, 6, and 14 comes together. Finally, the agriculture and food production, goal number 2, 14, 15. But you can see the SDG goal 2, it comes under mostly in 3 places, because the scope of the research is very, very wide in case of SDG. So if you want to do a research in SDG goals, first thing, we have to find out the scope of the research. The scope of the research depends upon the SDG goal. If you consider the only one goal, it may comes under different component. Here the SDG goal 2, it comes under the human health, it comes under the water health, it comes under the agriculture also. So we have to consider all these disciplines. That is why SDG research is coming under the transdisciplinary. Under transdisciplinary, it comes under the interdisciplinary also. We have to see, we have to compare other countries also, not only one country. We have to collaborate with other country. The reason is, only if a stranger entered into the place, he will know what is the thing new. So these are the basic thing under the SDG goal. Here is another example. We can group the SDG goals and do a research. Say, for example, if a person is doing research in human development, he can go to combine some of the goals. Goal number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. You can compare these goals and do in case of human development. This is the another scope. Economic development. We can combine the goals 8, 9, 10, and 17. This is purely in social science. And if you want to do research in the remaining goals, we can have social community development. So as a social science faculty, you can combine these goals and create a new disciplinary and start your work. So let us conclude the first part. In this first part, you must know clearly that SDG researches are different from the basic research because of the nature of transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary. Second thing, you must know that we can group some of the SDG goals and do the research. Next thing, if in case of social science, if you want to do the research, you can also group according to the 3 classifications. Once if you create a group to do the SDG goal, then it will be successful. Very good example. We have done 2 research in the SDG. One in case of alleviation of poverty. Another one we have done in case of the ESG. All these research include minimum 4 disciplines. The present research what we were engaging in ESG of Indian Logistics Company, it comes under the 8 goals of the SDG. So we have to see each and every goal when you are creating a research problem, try to find out a solution based upon the grouping of all these SDG researches. That is the first thing we have to know. Let us move on to the individual goals. And what are all the research topics in the individual goals? How you can frame the objective, how you can frame the identification, what are all the identity in each and every research, that is the input. If you have done well, what will be the output? We'll start from the first SDG goal. You know, that is the no poverty. Very core thing. All the government should involve in creating the no poverty. So in case of no poverty, first thing, our aim is how to reduce the poverty. The goal of the SDG goal 1 should be understood in the correct manner. We can't find out how many people are poor. That is no need. We have to identify how we can reduce the poverty. The objective of this SDG goal 1 research is well defined in such a manner that reducing the poverty. But it depends upon the each and every country because of the governance and nature. In case of African countries, we are having a different procedure, whereas in case of European countries, it will differ. Whereas in case of American countries, it will differ. That is why when you are doing the research, you should be very clear. First goal is the how we can create the goal that reducing the extreme poverty. Second one, you can find out how we can implement social protection systems to reduce the poverty. That may be the another objective because the goal is reducing the poverty. So we have to find out a new method. We have to protect the people to get rid of the poverty. So that may be the another input. Next one, ensuring equal rights to economic resources. Economic resources only reduce the poverty. That is why in case of SDG goal 1, the input will differ. Of course, the objective is reducing the poverty. You have to give the input in such a method that how we can identify the extreme poverty, how we can create a social protection system, how we can ensure the equal rights. Finally, how we are able to build a resilience against poverty from disasters. These are all the subcategory under the first part of the SDG goal 1. So understand this is called the input. So if your research is based upon the SDG goal 1, the input should be created like that. And the process, it depends upon the nature of the research. It comes under the science. Let us see the example of the output. One of the organization in India, most of you know, Unilever, Hindustan Unilever, conducted a nice research under the SDG goal 1. The output of the SDG goal 1 is the Project Shakti. We assume that it is only created under the CSR. It is not like that. When we asked the people from the Hindustan Unilever, they clearly told they conducted an SDG 1 research for 2 years. The output of the 2 years research is the Project Shakti. The Unilever philosophy, they changed. Of course, it comes under the CSR. They mentioned that how to remove the poverty from the woman. and how to create a business value to get rid of poverty among the women. They created a business model and they implemented. Understand, SDG role should be implemented. You are able to implement the output of the SDG goal. Here in India, Unilever implemented the nice concept from SDG Goal 1 research. This is a nice example. So when we want to do a research, think about the output first. Why we are doing this research? What will be the output? You have to frame the hypothesis like this. When the Unilever did a research, they clearly framed the hypothesis that how we can reduce the poverty, maybe through their product or any other means. What is the nature of the Indians? They clearly identified. That is the success story of the research from the SDG goal 1. Second SDG goal. The aim is well defined. That is zero hunger. We have to end hunger. The research aims to end hunger. We can't end the hunger throughout the global level. How to reduce the hunger and how to create a sustainable agriculture policy to the purpose of reducing the hunger. That is the core objective of the research in SDG goal. So in case of SDG goal 2, the inputs are how we can end the hunger. That is the primary goal of the research. We can't do in all the places in the globe. We can identify a small place, how many people are hungry, how to end the hunger. Then coming to the secondary objectives of the research, how to improve the nutritional value. That is also coming under the SDG. So, this improving the nutritional value under the SDG 2. Then, how to promote sustainable agriculture. Then only we can reduce the hunger because it will provide the economic viability to everyone. If you create a sustainable agriculture, definitely we can reduce the hunger. That is why your SDG objective should be framed. In case of agriculture, how to enhance the agriculture productivity. Most places, the agriculture is going down. That is why they created how to enhance the agriculture productivity. And finally, ensuring access to safe and nutritious food. We can go for the secondary objectives, these 4 items. Of course, primary objective is the ending the hunger. So in SDG goal, it may do involves in different area. We can't do only one discipline. It will involve interdisciplinary. Let us see the output of the one of the organization, how they conducted the research and what is the CSR values they created. Very good example is the LG Corporation in India. They decided in case of India, some of the places, including urban place, people are facing this issue. They created a movement, Hunger Free India. That is the output of the research done by the LG team under the CSR. And they created the Hunger Free India movement. And they clearly define what activities we can perform. That is why the output of the research should be a policy matter. They identified in which urban places people are hungry, which rural places people are hungry, how to make them hunger free. We can't do in all the places. So the output of the research clearly mentioned that three concepts: the identification of place, then what type of food we have to provide to reduce the hunger, finally how it will create the impact among the society. Others should do. We have to motivate others to do. So that will be the output. So we expect that first decide the output of the research, then go to the input for the research. Let even more organizations are doing. Here is another example in case of Tamil Nadu. One of the organization called Social Service. They created the hunger-free place. They priced the food product less. Those who are living under the poverty line, the food is free. That comes under the CSR values. Another organization, you may know all these things. We are telling about the geo. Even the geo, the business people created a concept to reduce the hunger. When Reliance Industries decided to establish a new theme park, they created a one event. They invited 3,000 people, that is especially kids living in the slum area of Mumbai. They bring these slum people and they inaugurated their theme park. Understand? If these people thought they can invite any big personalities for establishing the theme park, this theme park was established and opened by the people living in slum. On one Christmas Eve, they opened. That is the output of the research done by the Reliance Industries team under the CSR. So whatever the research, it should create the policy and it should create a value to the society. That is the interesting thing in case of the SDG goal 2. Coming to the SDG goal 3, it is the good health and well-being. How to create the good health among the people and well-being. So our aim is to create a good health among the people. Very tough job in this research. We need the medical people. It never means that medical people only do. We have to focus on what type of public policy we have to frame to provide the healthcare services to the society. That is the aim of this goal. So in this goal, the primary objective of the research is healthcare access. Most of the medical people, they are finding difficult to work in villages. Even the government finds very difficult to solve this problem. That is why we need a new type of research. The primary aim is to healthcare access. Then the secondary aim of the research, how to prevent diseases. Disease prevention is the secondary one. Of course, this needs very good input from the medical people. Then child health, mental health of the people. Of course, health disparities. We are going for the different health disparities among the people. Then universal health coverage, maybe insurance. So the primary objective is healthcare access. The secondary objective of this goal will be disease prevention, child health, mental health, health disparities, and universal health coverage. You have to create a such objective. Then only we can do the research. Each and every part will have a different research design. However, it is a transdisciplinary. So we have to involve all these people in such research. Here is a nice example of the output of the healthcare research from the Microsoft team. Most of you know the Bill Gates Foundation. The Gates Foundation done a research globally, not only in India. They have done very big research. Each and every country, they conducted a research how to provide the healthcare services to the rural people. And in 2 villages in India, they achieved. You may not know, it takes 3 years time to do a feasibility study research in Bihar by the Bill Gates Foundation. It sent 24 members team to Bihar to find out how to provide the healthcare services, because you know the people in case of rural place in India, they are living in a different situation. This research finally gives nice output. In 2 villages, the Microsoft created a nice healthcare system, and they adopted this village. Basic thing, the policy is well defined after the research. That is the success story of this research. Likewise, the goal 4, the primary objective is the inclusive education. Inclusive education means even a disabled people, even the mentally affected people are able to get a nice education. We have to create a system like that. That is coming under the inclusive education, inclusive learning. Very difficult, but we have to make. At present, the government of India created a number of schools under the inclusive education concept. Everybody should get the education. If a person is having a disability, how we can provide the education? We can't throw them out. That is the inclusive education. The primary objective of the research here is the how to provide inclusive education. Then only the secondary objective. What are all the emotional needs, intellectual needs in a classroom? How to create the classroom? That is a very important thing if you want to provide the inclusive education. Who are all going to support this type of social change? The challenging discrimination factor, whether everybody will come together to achieve that one. These are all the secondary objectives in case of the inclusive education. Then only we can provide education for all. We have to ensure the access to education to all. That is the objective of the research. And the output you can see, nice thing from the ITC India. ITC done a nice research under the inclusive education. Even their notebook called Classmates, it comes under the cost-related marketing. They created a nice concept how we can provide the inclusive education. And their concept is ITC Primary Education Scheme. They collaborate with their own stakeholders and to prevent the persons who are getting out of the education. That is the output of this research, nicely done by the ITC. It is very successful in 4 villages in case of India. Each and everybody, irrespective of their ability, are able to provide. That is why it is very small in nature. This SDG goal we can't do only in small places. We can't achieve throughout the globe. You can see even the Microsoft scheme, how they created the inclusive education scheme. Even their own chief is included. Goal 5, gender equality. How to empower the women and girls, not only women, but everyone. Empowering the people is the main objective of this goal. Mostly, this research is fully funded by the World Bank Group. Now, you may get very good funding from the World Bank Group for doing this research. Primary aim is the woman's empowerment. How to empower that one. Secondary objective, gender-based violence. Very difficult to find out. That is why I told we can go for snowball sampling. Nobody will tell the gender-based violence openly. Then equal access to education and healthcare. So this mingle with everything, previous goals also, and promoting even the women's leadership. So in case of this goal, primary is different. Coming to the achievement of this one, nice research done by the Procter and Gamble under the concept of PNG Siksha movement. One of the corporate conducted the research and they created a nice concept, VC equal, empowering the girl child. They have provided the education to 16,000 students at a time in the beginning stage. Now, PNG is providing the funding for the women for up to the age of 15. Nearly 2 lakh people are benefited so far. That is the PNG concept. Whatever the corporates they are receiving, they are ready to provide. But their research clearly shows that to whom you have to give funds, how to give funds, that is the output of the research. And they are very successful in case of this research. You can see the PNG CSR goal and conceptual note. You can find out what type of research is needed. Coming to the goal 6, clean water and sanitation. That you know. Very good example is the how to provide the sanitized water, the SDG goal. So most of the research, the primary aim of this goal is providing the water quality. How to provide the good water to the human being. That is why primary aim of the research depends upon the water quality. If you want to give importance to water quality, then sanitation. That is the secondary one. Next one is the water scarcity, how to reduce the problem of the water scarcity. Finally, in case of this research, the aim is going to sustainable water management, how to provide a nice water management even in case of urban places. Let us see the output of this research. Here is a nice example from the Tata Foundation. They research in water scarcity created a new concept. And throughout the Rajasthan, they identified the 4 lakh children which are under the 5 years. They identified that they are dying in different diseases. So they decided to provide the water facilities, drinking water, sanitized water to the 212 villages in Rajasthan. That is the output of their research. Next goal, ensure access to affordable, reliable, modern energy. That is the objective of the goal number 17. So, in case of goal number 17, it depends upon the energy efficiency system. Hence, the primary aim is to provide renewable energy sources. Primary objective of this research is to provide the renewable energy sources. Secondary one, how we can move towards the energy efficiency system. How to safeguard the present energy. Then universal access to electricity, whether everybody in all the places, including tribal places, are able to get the access to electricity. So these two are the secondary objectives in case of that one. Most of the research are done in the energy efficiency. Let us see the output of the research conducted by the IKEA. How the IKEA identified this concept, the output of the research. First thing, they decided that they have to use only the electric vehicles even for deliveries. At present, their goal is fixing only 20% of the delivery should be made in electric vehicles. And whatever the product they are manufacturing, it should reduce the consumption power. It should be renewable. The power should be shared, and they have to go for renewable energy. We used to call it a circular economy. They created the concept of circular economy. That is the output of this research. Previously, we may not have the circular economy. Now, once the IKEA completed their research, they mentioned that the solution is the circular economy. Then, coming to the goal number 8, promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment to everyone. That is purely depends upon the society nature. So their primary aim is to create the sustainable consumption. So the primary objective of this one is the labor rights also. Understand? If you want to go for the good consumption area, most of may wonder why we are targeting the labor. The goal is belonging to the manufacturing. Who is manufacturing? Labor. So if you educate labor, then automatically we will go for good manufacturing. That is why the primary aim is the labor, how we can create the job creation, and how we can create the economic inclusivity among the workers and underprivileged people. So the secondary objectives are well defined to get the sustainable economic development. Here is an output of the research done in this area. Very good is the L&T. Most of you know the L&T concept. After this research, they created the core value, that is the safety. Labor safety should be ensured in L&T. That is the core aim. How to ensure the labor safety? That policy has been created by the L&T. So this is the policy research. Everywhere in L&T, they have to follow this procedure because L&T is coming under the construction. Next goal. Even here is another example of the Walmart, how they did the research in labor. The next goal, resilient infrastructure to foster the new innovation and industrialization. That is the core objective. So when you want to do the research in this area, you have to find out the technological innovation. Then only we are able to solve this problem. So if you want to go for the resilient infrastructure, identify the technological innovation. So basically, this start with the technological innovation, then the secondary aim, infrastructure development, then the resilient industrialization. whatever the industry it is coming, we have to survive. That is the aim of this research. Here is a nice example from the Siemens. Siemens created a nice policy in industrialization. Of course, with the help of technology, they created the policy map and they created the innovative things, how we can create a new infrastructure. That is the output of the Siemens research. Whether in India or in Europe, they are following the same process of that one. Basically, it is a purely scientific research. 10, USDG 10. That is the reducing the equality. Very important thing. This belongs to the social science. How to reduce the social inequality. That is the primary aim. The secondary one, we have to go for, if you want to achieve the social inequality, you have to identify or reduce the income disparities. That is the secondary objective. Another secondary objective, what type of policies we need to promote inclusivity and equity. So in this goal, this relating to the society, most probably the economics people will work. However, it should be supported by the others in terms of equity. Here is an output of the Maruti Suzuki. This corporate created the workplace equality. You can see even women and men join together and work. They created a new policy for this one, how to create the workplace equality. That is the output, whatever it may be. Even in case of HCL Technologies, they created every Saturday, they have to join hands with inequality people and create a concept people are equally. You can see the HCL channel sit along with the underprivileged people and clearly portraying the concept that everybody is equal. That is their policy matter they created. Likewise, the goal number 11, make cities human settlement. Same thing, but this comes under the sustainable. How to create the sustainable cities and making that one. So this research aims to have the urban planning. Even in case of disaster, everything, the city should be resilient. We are able to create. Then the affordable housing unit and community will be mostly in case of apartments. Most of the cities are coming, but without the resilience. So what type of thing we can give? Most of the corporates should come forward and do this research of that one. Here is an example of this one, how Cisco created. This is an example from the Cisco, how they created the resilient cities. Their urban planning is entirely different. A group of people together and they used to create the urban planning. This is a policy research from the Cisco, how to create the resilient city. And it looks an ordinary, but it is essential. The goal number 12, responsible consumption and production. All the manufacturing unit has to do this research. So here the main theme itself is the circular economy at present. We have to go for renewable sources. So that is the first aim. Then only the secondary objective is waste reduction and sustainable consumption. Here is an output of this one, how the Samsung created the sustainability. They created a concept of circular economy. Even in case of mobile phones, you know the noise pollution and radiation. They created the policy how to reduce the radiation. That is quite common. I think some of you know, even the filmmakers created a nice concept with that one. This film is also the output of one research in this area. Most of you know, the world is not only for humans, but also for birds. Next research, the climate action. What is the primary aim of this one? How to identify the climate change and the mitigation of the climate. Suddenly we are facing number of things, rains in particular place, another place earthquake, another place fire. So core aim is the how to mitigate the climate change. Secondary objective, how to adapt the strategies, how to cooperate a compact climate change among the different countries, because people are experiencing climate changes in different diversified ways. That is the aim. Here is an example, same Unilever, how they created the climate one. They mentioned that net zero emission concept in their policy to reduce the global warming. This is the concept created once again by the Unilever, even for the supply chain purpose. Goal number 14, life below water. That is how to reduce the marine pollution. We are not mostly not thinking about the marine pollution, but that also should be concerned. So the core aim is the marine conservation. The secondary objective is the ocean health, what we have to provide. Next secondary objective is the sustainable fisheries management. Here is an example of the organization which did successfully in research, that is the MERS. Their research is entirely different. It finally concluded that how to prevent the plastic waste in the sea, how to remove that one, and what type of policy matters we can take in such cases. That is the MERS. They created the Blue Ocean Strategy and made it successful. Goal number 15, life on land. What are the life? We have to give importance for the life in the land. So that is why the primary objective is the biodiversity and conservation, especially from the environmental people. They used to identify this one. The secondary objective is afforestation. We know. And the next objective is the sustainable land usage practices. How to use the land, how to get the nice resources from the land. Here is a nice example which is created by the NDTV, the concept of Save Tiger movement. They introduced that one in more than 2,000 schools in India. That is the output of the research in SDG goal. The goal number 16, peace and justice. So this goal aims for how to bring the peace for everybody, because now we are facing number of problems. So the basic objective should be rule of law. Each and every country is following different law. If you wish to achieve the peace, what type of objective you have to create? That is why primary aim is the rule of law. Then only human rights, corruptive prevention practices, and effective governance. So this research aims from the rule of law. Remaining are the secondary objectives. Here is a nice example from the ANZ Bank, how they created the policy for peace and justice. Their policy itself mentioned that if there is any grievance, how to address. Of course, they faced a lot of problem in the beginning, but they created a nice policy for bringing down everything nicely, how to achieve the justice and peace. That is the output from the ANZ Bank under this SDG goal. The last goal, partnership for all these things. Goal number 17, we need a comparative study of all these goals. then only it is success. That is global collaboration. We have to collaborate with everybody. That is why I told that it should be a transdisciplinary research. And then only we can share the knowledge. Our aim, whatever happening in India, it should not, if anything goes wrong, it should not happen in other countries. We have to share knowledge. Once again, the circular economy. Then the capacity development. You can see the output of the research in Samsung manufacturing unit. They created the robots to achieve the SDG goal 17. First, it will check the environment, then it will create a nice circular economy. Whatever the waste, it will identify. The robot will go to all the manufacturing place, even it used to meet the people, collect the waste from everybody and bring it into the common place. It will decide what we have to do. That is how the Samsung created the policy for this one. So based upon that, here is another example of the Adidas, how they created the circular economy under the SDG goal. They used to collect from the ocean waste. Then they use the ocean waste for manufacturing these shoes. That is the concept of Adidas. And Mothercare created the supplier ethical data exchange concept. That is the output of the SDG goal 17. If you want to supply goods to Mothercare, you have to follow the blockchain among that one. Even the general electric business, they follow the concept of global supply chain. So based upon this thing, you must understand what are all the input for the research, and we have seen the output. Of course, I am not discussing the process. So as a conclusion, first thing, we need unified action for addressing each and every goal separately. And each and every goal is having the fragmentation one. We need a separate institutional structure to solve the problems in SDG goal. The research should focus on the new deep reforms, which is able to be influenced, and it should be able to establish. Otherwise, it is waste. We have seen in the example of the Adidas how they introduce the reforms for that purpose. The research should be bottom-up approach instead of starting from the beginning. That is why first think about the output, then start from the bottom. And most of the cities are the drivers for this research. What is happening in the different cities, find out, solve this problem. That will be good research. And we are to breaking down the silos. That is, we need a coordinated policy because it is interdisciplinary in nature. And SDG research should be an inclusive engagement among all these goals. We have to protect the most vulnerable societies. That is should be registered and it should be addressed. The knowledge and data effective policy should be clearly formed because most of the data we need security. Most of the people won't reveal their problem. Identifying their problem itself is the very big issue. Once you identified, we can create a database among that one. Then the research should be a sustained, transformative one. We expect the action-based research, not simply only in policy. Policy we have to frame, but the policy should be able to be implemented. So I hope you might have known something about the SDG research in all this area. So as a conclusion, we have to join together to achieve this goal in SDG. Then only it will be successful one. Thank you, dear participants. Any queries you can ask. I think I exceed by 8 minutes.
Sir, today was a research day at Kristu College, and coincidentally, We have uncovered the research scope of SDGs. Your
Oh,
video was interactive. I'm sure that our audiences were engaged. I gratefully recall the contribution of Sir in our previous FDP as well. Sir has become an inevitable part of our department FDPs. Thank you, dear Sir, for those enriching thoughts. Sir laid open the reality of conducting SDG research in India, the sampling method and transdisciplinary research approach to be adopted. Sir also gave us different angles in which SDG research can be carried out. Sir has beautifully cut out the objectives for each SDG. Sir, I thank you for your efforts and patience in collecting and putting this into one piece. I should say that Sir has handheld us through the research process. Sir, at the end of the day, you have shown that our research has impact and it does not go waste. Now the floor is open for questions and answer session. Participants can orally ask questions by unmuting or ping their questions in the chat box.
Sir, myself, Dr. Nagesham here. I have a question regarding what now CSR has become a mandatory for every organization. Okay, so how they are aligning with SDGs that we could see through your videos actually, PNG or ITC or other companies are doing such a social responsible activities. Meanwhile, there are n number of the cases where for this sake the companies are donating something, contributing something, but not in true sense of making a sustainable development of the community or vicinity where they are operating their operations. So where I come from, a coastal area where it's near to Vishakhapatnam, I work as a assistant professor in the Central Urban State of Andhra Pradesh. We have a n number of pharmaceutical companies here, where the vicinity of the companies where the environment is totally polluted, and in the name of corporate social responsibility they are donating some kind of a food material, some kind of a school materials and all these stuffs. But how can this be in a true sense that we can achieve a real sense of sustainable development goals?
thank you for your question. Nice question. Everywhere this problem is there. The main problem is in case of India, CSR comes under our act. So all the SDG goals research are done under the CSR. But the main issue is who has to identify the place, how to solve that issue. I have given one example. If the people living in Bangalore is ready to solve the problem in Bangalore, it is very difficult because he will know the problem in the overlapping area. If a person from Vishakhapatnam comes to Bangalore and notice, he will know what is the basic problem. I am not telling this one. If this problem happened in Unilever, you may not know the Hindustan Unilever Shakti project. Hindustan Unilever first 6 months conducted a nice research throughout India with the help of the local people. They came with only one plan, that Shakti project we can implement, the name Shakti can be created. But when it started functioning in the 7th month, it is a failure. People are assuming that Hindustan Unilever is forcing people to buy their Hindustan Unilever product. So people are not ready to buy that one because it is done by the Indian. So what happened? Hindustan Unilever identified 3 persons, one from Hong Kong, another from Malaysia, another from Singapore. They came to India and identified how to implement the project Shakti successfully. Once they identified, they know that problem of the people. As an Indian, most of the things are common. We may not know that this is the main reason. When they identified the root cause of the problem, then the policy of the Hindustan Unilever Project Shakti has changed. It takes 2 years' time. Then in the third and fourth year, they implemented. Main thing in the Project Shakti, don't focus the name called Hindustan Unilever or the product because people assume that it is the corporate. Same thing. So then first they identified clearly what is the root cause of the problem. Try to solve the problem first, then you can empower them. Same thing in case of the oceans, especially in case of Visakhapatnam coast, more pollutions are there. In case of Maersk, I told the example, how they created the policy. And this is a very big issue. One person can't solve. We need
Exactly, sir.
a collaborative research for that one. Globally, we have to think and solve.
Exactly. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for your explanation.
So we have a question parked in the chat box by Dr. Anil Kumar. Among the 17 SDGs, how many SDGs are directly connected to higher education in India?
In my view, all are directly connected. Most of them will say only three, but all are connected with education because first thing we have to teach all the 17 goals to the students. How to teach the SDG goal 17 to the students, that is the challenging one. If you teach all the 17 goals and the problems associated with the 17 goals, then only in future our students we are able to do that one in future. But education is common. Most of them assume that only equality comes under the education and providing the education. It is not like that. First, creating the awareness, teach the students. Once the students know in practically, take them to some places, know what is the problem there, why the SDG goal has been needed. Once the problem has been identified by the students, then only we are able to solve this issue. So, my opinion, all the goals are coming under the education.
So one question from my end. So since big, you showed all the examples of big corporates, focusing on SDGs, but and more basically because they would have been compelled to do so because of CSR, regulations. But what about MSMEs? Have you seen any MSMEs actually do some small bit like this? Since you are from the consultancy side also, I wanted to ask this question.
MSME, it is made compulsory now. The policy of the government at present, in case of all the MSMEs under this corporate social responsibility, they created a concept called ESG. I think corporate governance 4.0. In case of India, even though we are living in corporate governance 3.0, now the new rule has been in the draft called corporate governance 4.0. Under that one, all the MSMEs are purposefully asked to involve in the ESG concept. That is very important thing is environmental, social, and governance. This ESG report is going to be mandatory. At present, only big organization having 25 lakhs crore, they are involving in that one. But if the MSME wish to survive, they need ESG report now. Even the big organizations, even the CRISIL is giving the ESG rating, and we are having the sustainability index for that MSME. So definitely, most of the MSMEs are engaging in these SDG goals under the banner ESG, that is Corporate Governance 4.0.
So one more question from my end is, you talked about ITC classmates and cost marketing. Today I'm hearing this word called as cost marketing. Now, since childhood, we have been taught that morally we should not, expect anything. If at all we are doing some charity or something good. Now, don't you think so? This is ethically contradictory for a company to increase its profit, coming up with cost marketing, and what is your viewpoint on that?
Yes, it is ethically correct because it is called in our marketing as cost related marketing. If you buy ITC classmate notebook 1 rupee will go for the charity, education purpose. And they clearly mentioned it is not for the purpose of marketing. Of course, people are seeing that one, but this 1 rupee should be accountable by the ITC under the Act. They have to prepare the sustainability report, how much amount they gained as an 1 rupee by selling one notebook. We are having the sustainability audit also for ITC, and this is mandatory by the ITC. They can't escape. It is not coming under the real marketing, but through the marketing practices, they wish to convey this one to others, because everybody is using classmate. They must know we have to empower education to others also. That is the main objective of the ITC, not only the cost related marketing.
Thank you, sir, for the words of wisdom you have given us this evening. Now I proceed towards the responsibility handed over to me, that is proposing the vote of thanks. A grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts to itself great things. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Babak Nankumar sir for his valuable thoughts that he has given or shared with us today. I also take this opportunity to thank Dr. Jonas Richard, Head Department of Social Work, and Dr. Madhu Dhruvakumar, Head Department of Commerce PG. They have both spearheaded this FDP thus far. We thank you both. I wish to thank my colleagues in both Department of Commerce PG and Department of Social Work. Thank you, dear colleagues. Dear participants and students, learning is vital just as air is vital for our lungs, and you have proved it right with your presence. Hearty congratulations to all of you. Last but not the least, I thank my dear students, especially Alicia, Hefzibah, and Susan, who are working in the background and are ensuring that this program is reaching its pinnacle. The feedback form will be shared now. It will also be shared in the WhatsApp group in case you missed it. Tomorrow there is no session. The next session is on Monday, the 23rd September 2024 at 6 p.m. Participants can use the same Zoom link to join. We shall send the reminders in the WhatsApp group as well. Dr. Victor Paul, Professor and Director, Center for Social Action, Christ deemed to be University, Bengaluru, Karnataka, will be addressing on community engagement and SDGs. We hope to see you all soon. This is your host, Dr. Cherian Thomas, signing off. Thank you, sir, once again.
Thank you, Cherian sir.